Good morning. This is my favorite part of waking up every day. Opening the curtains to just trees. Amazing. I think this is one of the first times ever that I've attempted to put on a cute outfit for YouTube, and you can't even see it. This is it, and very few pieces of clothing fit me at the moment that I own, so we have to just make do with what we have. I am 23 weeks pregnant, but yeah, 23 weeks pregnant in a new house. Honestly, our dream house. I cannot believe we live here. If you've been keeping up with my vlogs, then you know that we moved pretty suddenly. It wasn't completely expected. I will delve into that, but first and foremost, every morning that I wake up, I am absolutely starving and I need to eat something immediately. And yeah, then we can talk about the house. I am in the kitchen right now, and I will say that this room, out of all the rooms in our house, probably gets the least amount of light just because of where it's located, and we are surrounded by a lot of nature outside, which is amazing, but there's not a ton of natural light in this part of the house, so I'm going to have to mess with the lighting and see what makes the most sense for filming. It's pretty bright now, right? I don't know. It's really early in the morning, but it's dark in here most mornings. Since we've moved to this house, we've only done one real proper grocery shopping trip. So a lot of my meals have been really simple, and you've probably noticed on Instagram, like I'm eating oatmeal a lot, just very, very basic meals. This morning for breakfast, I'm going to make a really healthy and delicious milkshake. It's something I've been making throughout my entire pregnancy. You can also recreate this even if you aren't having a baby. And yeah, let's just get started. I don't know why I'm doing this whole intro. Oh, I do want to say that this new house has a pantry, which is something I have absolutely always wanted in a home. I've never had one as an adult. It's not huge, and we are still organizing it and all that stuff, but it's really nice to just have a place to keep food, you know, cooking stuff, pots, pans, all that. Okay, so this milkshake, I'm going to be using the pregnancy and postpartum essential protein by Ritual. They just sent me a new bag of this, and they are the sponsor of today's video, but I actually bought a bag of this back in February or March before I even was planning to do this partnership. So I've been using it since then. I really am liking it a lot. I also had been using Ritual's normal protein powder before I was pregnant. I think it's called the Daily Shake for 18 and up. And I recently just switched back to their prenatal multivitamin from the last prenatal that I was taking. I will insert some footage of what those look like if you've never seen them before. I take them at nighttime with my dinner. What I really like is that their vitamins contain omega-3s, so you don't have to take a separate omega supplement. Previously, I was taking fish oil in addition to my prenatal, and I was having like really gross fishy aftertaste. That's like very common. You guys, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And these Ritual vitamins are like lemony, citrus, and they don't contain fish oil. It's actually a vegan omega-3 from algae, so you don't get that like fishy burp aftertaste. Super gross, I know, but needed to be said. If you guys would like to try Ritual out, they are offering 20% off your first month of vitamins or protein. So you can go to the link in my description box below and use my code ITSPLITS20. These are the ingredients you're going to need for your milkshake. It is so simple. Of course, you will need your protein powder. You're going to need milk. I'm using organic whole milk. You can use whatever kind you want. I'm also using frozen red raspberries. Again, you can like swap in whatever frozen fruit you want, but raspberries are truly my favorite for this. You will also need a banana and optionally a little bit of ice. Today I'm going to be using frozen bananas because I had some that were about to go bad. I just threw them in the freezer, so I'll use this instead of a fresh banana. The final thing is that sometimes I will add a little bit of cacao in, or if I don't have it, I'll just add like a little square of chocolate in, break it up a little bit. This is, you know, your own choice, but it makes it just like a little bit chocolatey. All right, closing that door because it's really messy in there. For the protein, I just do 1 scoop. Milk, a little bit of ice, and we're going for the chocolate today. All right. Look at the texture of this milkshake. It is actually like a milkshake texture. Gonna get a straw. Look at the color. It is so good. Seriously, I've been drinking this like 2 to 3 times a week throughout pregnancy. I don't always make it in the morning. Often my go-to time is after dinner as like a bedtime snack or kind of a dessert. But today we had literally no food almost. All right, so I am currently in our, well, what we've been calling the TV room, simply because this is where we have set our TV up. I have these like windows open, so I don't know if it's gonna be really blown out in this video, but I wanted to talk to you guys about like why we moved, and I know many of you are expecting a house tour. I've always really liked content like that. I love seeing other people's spaces and whatnot, but I'm not going to be doing that at all in this house. So I'll talk about that too. Excuse me, oh my gosh. So in my vlog, whatever vlog it was, a couple videos ago where I talked about the fact that we were moving, I think it was also when I announced being pregnant. A lot of you guys were surprised and confused about just why we were moving suddenly. And like I said at the beginning of this video, it really was not totally a planned thing. Essentially, the last house that we were living in, which was an amazing house, you know, we had been there for a little bit over 3 years. When we moved into that house, we knew that it wasn't going to be our forever home because it was actually quite small. And once the pandemic started, which was maybe about a year after we moved in, like Nick and I both started working from home a lot more, and it became clear very quickly that we were going to need more space. Especially because, you know, Nick is a songwriter, for those of you who don't know, so he will be like recording things sometimes at the house, and he really needed a space where he could do that, like when any time of the day or night that he wanted to do it. So we knew for sure that we needed a space for Nick to work. When we moved into that house, we also hadn't really decided when we were going to have kids, but we both thought we did want them. And I think that the house was just not really the best setup for raising a kid. Like it could have been done and we were prepared to do it if we needed to, for sure, but it wasn't like our ideal house for raising a kid. The biggest factor and reason that we wanted to move is because the neighborhood that we were living in was like not very safe. The crime, specifically gun violence, increased dramatically during the pandemic. Living in LA, you know, no matter what neighborhood you live in, there's always crime. There's always going to be violence. You can live in the nicest home in Beverly Hills and your house can still be targeted, you know? So I feel like in LA at all times, I've always kind of been like a little bit on edge, but there are specific pockets in like up and coming neighborhoods or whatever that there's just like there's a lot of active gangs and so on and so forth. So we really wanted to move to a house that felt safer. So we had started kind of a preliminary house search about a year ago just to see what was out there. And the way that we found this house and got this house was so crazy. Like something that is out of a weird movie. I hate when people say everything happens for a reason. Like, that is a phrase that has always really bothered me. But the way that things fell into place with this house, it just felt very serendipitous and kind of like meant to be. So yeah, it just all kind of fell into place in a wild way. And yeah, it just felt like, okay, this is definitely our house. Now, as far as like showing our house on camera and on social media, I've gone back and forth in my mind about how I want to do this, because I do still want to film videos and I do still want to let you guys into my life, and I plan to do that. I think I can find a happy medium between what I feel comfortable with and just being like a public figure or whatever. In the past, I have been really, really open about things, and I have also had some major like security and safety issues that come with being online. You don't even need to have like a following on the internet to have some person single you out and do something harmful to you. You know, that can happen to anybody. But obviously when you're sharing your life, people get kind of like attached, and it becomes more common for those types of things to occur. I had a couple of incidents that I'm not even going to go into. Things that made me feel really uncomfortable and felt like a threat to my safety. Honestly, I don't want to live in fear in my own home. I don't want to live in fear with my family, you know? To me, I think privacy now, at least a balance between being public and being private, is really important. Especially now that we are having a kid, it feels like pertinent to be mindful of everything in my life. Nick travels for work sometimes. He comes home late from his sessions and from work, and I always want to just feel safe in my home. And there was a large period at our last house where I didn't feel safe, and that really took a toll. Like, it sucked. And I felt like there were a lot of periods where I was truly living in fear. And so I started learning self-defense, different types of self-defense. I took training from various people. So behind the scenes off of YouTube, I had been just like learning a lot of these things and kind of empowering myself to just be more confident when I'm home alone, more confident that I can protect my family. I don't know if I'm getting completely off track. Something else about pregnancy, I feel like your brain is like going all over the place, and you're thinking about 800 things at once. So going back to the topic of this video, I will not be doing a house tour, but I will be filming in my house and showing you guys like my day-to-day stuff and my routines and exciting things happening in my life. In fact, I'm really excited to decorate this house. We never really decorated our last house. We never even bought furniture for our last house, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of that with you guys. But I don't like the idea of strangers knowing the complete layout of our home. And I just would like it to be a bit more private. I don't know. Does that make sense? So I know this video is really long, and I hope it like gave some clarity. Like I said, I am still going to be filming a lot in this house, and I'm not gonna put limits on what I can and cannot film. I am kind of debating how I want to film once we have a kid, but I think I'll just kind of play it by ear and see what feels the most natural and what feels right in the moment. I just want to keep it a little bit more low-key as I move into this next chapter of my life as a parent, and I hope you understand. I want to end this video by saying how grateful I am for all the opportunities that I've had, and how grateful I am to be in this house, mostly because it feels very, very safe. I feel secure, and that is just the best feeling. I wish everyone could experience that, and I'm just so grateful that I get to. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out Ritual if you have not already. You can use my code, it's Blitz20, plus the link in my description box for 20% off your first month of vitamins or protein. I will see you very soon in my next video, and I will talk to you then.